ceilings. We will do flat ceilings and vaulted ceilings. So we'll start with a new project. Use the architectural template. And you are going to see that we have level 1 and level 2. And we also have ceiling plans level 1 and level 2. We will look at ceilings plans in this project so that we can look up and see what's going on. And we can add lighting as well. Okay, to start, we will start adding walls. We'll change our wall type to a generic 6-inch. And you can go ahead and draw a basic shape that looks something similar to what I have here. Okay, so these are all exterior walls. We're going to add an interior wall that comes across. So I want you to change your wall type from a generic 6-inch to a generic 5-inch. As I come over here, we can change this, use wall centerline or finish face interior or finish face exterior. I'm going to use finish face interior. Click on the edge, drag across. Okay, so that is aligned. We are going to select all of our walls here. Currently, our top constraint probably varies because we didn't set it to level 2, and I want you to change this up to level 2. All right, that way our walls only go up to the second level. Okay, now we can add ceilings. In order to add ceilings, we need to go to the ceiling plan. So we're going to go to ceiling plan level 1. And we know it is a ceiling plan because this little icon at the top looks like a grid. Okay, from there, under the architecture tab, build panel, we have ceilings. And you have two options to create ceilings. One is an automatic ceiling. The second is the sketch ceiling. So the first one we're going to do is a flat ceiling in this top room as an automatic ceiling. But we do not want to use a 2x4 ACT system. That is a system found in commercial buildings. So we'll click our drop down arrow for edit type and use generic. All right, our height offset of our ceiling is currently 8 feet. So we'll move over into our rectangle, this top rectangle. You can see it's highlighted in red. Go ahead and click once, and it has now placed a ceiling. Now you cannot see that because it's an outer perimeter and there's nothing really to see. Okay, so once it is placed, I'll select my modify tool. And if I move over a wall and I press my tab key a couple times, you can see that there is a ceiling actually there. You will know once you go to place lighting in if there's a ceiling or not. If there is a ceiling, it'll place the lighting. If there's not a ceiling, it'll give you a circle with a line through it. Okay, so that is our first ceiling. That is a flat ceiling. Okay, so now that we have that ceiling in, we're going to add a roof so that we get a gable style roof down at the bottom here. And that we can add a ceiling that has a slope to it. So I want you to select on the roof tool. Yes, we want to place this on level 2. Change your roof type to a wood rafter, 8-inch. Okay, change your overhang to 1'6". And we'll keep the pick wall tool. And we'll go around the exterior perimeter of our house so that all of the pink lines are offset out away from the home. Okay, so currently all of these slopes for the lines are a 9/12, and that's fine. The only one we want to change is this bottom horizontal line. We'll select it. We're actually going to uncheck define slope. When we do that, that will give us a gable style where this line slopes to the middle, this line slopes to the middle, and we have an open face down here. Okay, so I'll press my check mark, and you're going to see this line or this ridge actually show up if we look at it in 3D. This is what I'm talking about. Double check that you have that. Okay. All right, now adding the ceiling so it slopes with the actual roof slope. Let's go back to our ceiling plan. All right, this time we are going to select ceiling, But now we are going to sketch our ceiling. Okay. I know that my ceiling is going to be in this rectangle here and also in this rectangle as well. They will be two separate ceilings. I'm going to select rectangle, click on the interior part of my wall, move my cursor up to the ridge line and select that midpoint. And now it has placed a pink rectangle on the left edge or the left side of our roof. Okay. What we need to do now is add what's called a slope arrow. So I select slope arrow. The tail of the slope, or the back end of the arrow, is going to be on the exterior side of the wall. Select that midpoint of the vertical line, move to the right, and place the top of the arrow at the midpoint of the ridge. Okay, so that has now added my slope arrow. My slope arrow is defined in properties as height at tail. We want to change that using the drop down arrow to slope. And we know the slope of our roof is a 912 after we just created our roof. So under here with properties, instead of a 412, we'll change that to a 9. Click apply, and we will hit the check mark. Okay, so if this may be off a little bit, we are going to check by using a section tool. So we create a section, cross or horizontal, double click on the head of the section, and you can see my ceiling sits below where it should. Okay, so we are actually going to move that up to align with the ridge. So in order to do that, make sure it's selected. Use your move tool. Pick on the top point or top edge of that ceiling. Move it up to the ridge. Okay, and that ceiling is now placed even with our roof. The last part that we want to do is actually move that ceiling down 1/2 of an inch, because if it sits even with the surface of the roof, you'll see it creates a whole bunch of triangulation issues in Enscape and 3D. So I will select it, click move, grab that endpoint, the top point of the ridge, and move down and type in 0.5 inch, enter, which is a 1/2 inch. Okay, if I take a look, you can see that ceiling sits down below a 1/2 of an inch. Right? To create the other side, you could go through that same process, or a quick shortcut is to actually select the ceiling, use the mirror tool. We're going to use mirror draw axes. And it's going to ask you to draw your axes. We are going to start at the top point where the ridge is, left click once, move vertical, left click twice, and it mirrors it across. Okay, so now I have a ceiling in each side. Let's go back to our ceiling plan. Okay, and we should have 2 ceilings in there. All right, so I should have a ceiling over here. Okay, and I should have a ceiling over in this side as well. Okay, so now that our ceilings are ready to go, one item that we do want to make sure is under our view range. Okay, for our ceiling plan, I'm going to select edit. And this top section we want to change to unlimited. Apply. Sorry, and your view depth to unlimited. Okay, so make sure those are both unlimited. Click apply and OK. You can change your cut plane. We'll take a look at it and see how it turns out right now. So we'll press OK. So we have our ceilings ready to go. You can turn off your roof, so you can select it, right click, hide in view element. You can also do that with your section if you need to. Okay, so you can see our ceilings are here now that we changed our view range. So to add lighting, we'll go up to the Systems tab, the whole way to the right. You may or may not see lighting fixture, or you may see something where you have to drop down to electrical and find that. Okay, so we're looking for lighting fixture. It's going to say that, hey, there's nothing loaded in this project. Do you want to load something? Yes, we do. All right, and under the English Imperial folder, we are going to go find lighting. All right, architectural. We are working inside the house, so this is internal. And you're going to see a whole bunch of lights that you can load in. You can also find lighting under BIM objects and logging in and downloading some lights. So we are going to look first at a recessed can. Okay, so you're going to find under downlight, recessed can. Select open. You have a couple options here. Stick with the 6-inch incandescent 120 volt. Right, and you can see if I move over top my ceiling, it will allow me to place a light. If I move outside of a ceiling, it does not allow me to place a light. All right, so I can place some lights here. I can place some lights over in my slanted ceiling. Okay, so those are, you can see that that light actually shows up that way. I would recommend that you, if you are doing recessed cans, they're about 6 feet apart. So 6 foot from the edge of the wall and 6 foot apart. You can do that by placing one and then moving it and then using your copy tool to move it every 6 feet. So one more here. Okay, so once I have those four, if I want the same on the other side, I will just highlight those and select them. Use that mirror tool again. Only this time I do have a mirror line, which is this midpoint, so I can use mirror pick axes and mirror it across that center line, and it puts them on the other side. Okay, so now I have some lights inside of my house. If you want to add more, go ahead and go back up to lighting fixture, load family. Let's see, I can find a ceiling light flat round. Select open, and I could place this in there so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I placed a couple lights. Now, once you have your lights in, you can look at that in 3D. I think the easiest way actually is to go to Enscape. So let's actually start 3D here. Going to exit out of Enscape there and restart it. Okay, here's my house. If I orbit around a little bit, there are some lights in there you can kind of see up in that ceiling, but we can't necessarily see that they're on. And to turn them on, if you hold down your shift key and your right mouse button, if you drag, it will change the time down here. And you can drag it so that you can get nighttime and you can start to see those lights turn on. Okay, so there's those lights for you. Once you have a floor and you move these walls up, they will turn out to be a lot better. You can see that there's no floor down here, so the light is not reflecting back up in to give you a better look. Also, this interior wall should be connected up here to the roof line so that it closes that up, and so should these walls as well. Okay, and that is how you add ceilings and lights.